members of the High Table, my colleagues. Mr. Chairman, I would like to seize this opportunity to congratulate you and my colleagues for accepting to deliberate on the recommendations of the 19 committees.
Have you mentioned the name?
Mr. Chairman, my name is Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje.
Thank you.
Presidential nominee from Kano State. Mr. Chairman, I have 4 interventions to make. Intervention number 1. My first intervention is on the report of the Anti-Corruption Reforms Committee. The committee made a serious omission on the issue of granting bail to perpetrators of corruption. Penal laws in Nigeria, like Penal Code, Criminal Code, EFCC, and the ICPC Acts, allow offenses of corruption and financial crime to be bailable. This situation does not help the fight against corruption, Mr. Chairman. If a suspect standing trial for the offense of corruption is sure of his or her freedom or liberty when arraigned before a court of law, the fear of committing corruption is diminished. Moreover, an accused person standing trial for corrupt offense with his liberty and freedom can adopt every available means to frustrate prosecution of the case. In this respect, Mr. Chairman, I recommend that the offense of corruption and financial crime should be made non-bailable in our courts. The fear of remaining in prison custody during the period of trial in court can serve as deterrent to people that intend to commit offense of corruption. Also, Mr. Chairman, I recommend that high-level embezzlement of public funds and in financial institutions should attract death penalty, as obtained in countries like the People's Republic of China. Intervention number 2, Mr. Chairman. My second intervention is again on the report of the Anti-Corruption Reforms Committee. The committee recommended that government should investigate all the local and foreign assets of all the executives at all levels who have served since 1966 and bring the corrupt ones to justice. To my understanding, Mr. Chairman, the investigation will involve all past heads of states, elected presidents, past military governors, military administrators, elected governors, local government chairmen, and local government sole administrators. Mr. Chairman, no one should condone corruption in whatever disguise, but to investigate the above array of executives from 1966 to date is a Herculean task. Some of these executives are dead. Some surrendered their lives to keep Nigeria one. Some are presently bankrupt, yet some are surviving with difficulty. For example, Mr. Chairman, if say you will investigate Chief Solomon La, who ruled Plateau State during the Second Republic, Alhaji Abubakar Rimi, who ruled Kano, Dr. Garba Nadama, who ruled Sokoto State, and many other state governors in the Second Republic from the South, I assure you, Mr. Chairman, instead of asking them to pay you something, probably the government has to pay them for inconveniences. Even those who seem to be rich, their riches are affected by multiplier effects that will have legal implications. In my opinion, such investigations may be cumbersome. Authentic records may not be available, and the whole exercise may be bogged down by witch hunting, seemingly creating more problems than it could solve. In this respect, Mr. Chairman, I object to the investigation of the past executives with effect from 1966 as recommended by the Committee on Anti-Corruption Reforms. There are sufficient laws to deal with those having foreign accounts. Intervention number 3. Mr. Chairman, another intervention is on the report of the Committee on Human Rights and Social Security. The report of this committee recommended to the conference for government for the Federation to implement the report of the Human Rights Violation Investigation Commission, popularly known as APUTA panel. I respectively object to the demand that the conference should recommend to the government to implement the APUTA panel. Mr. Chairman, the APUTA panel was purely an administrative panel established by government in order to address individual and national grievances of the past and to offer reconciliation where possible. At this juncture, we must admit that the Commission has succeeded to some extent in reconciling aggrieved individuals and the communities. However, the panel, not being a judicial commission of inquiry, its recommendations have no binding effect. Furthermore, there was a court pronouncement against the legality of the APUTA panel. It is also important to note that the report of the panel was submitted to the government of the Federation about 4 years ago, and the government has not found it imperative to implement the recommendations of the panel. In this respect, Mr. Chairman, and in my opinion, it is totally unacceptable to allow this important conference to be dragged into unnecessary controversy on the report of the Human Rights Violation Investigation Commission. Intervention number 4. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.